Hello guys, welcome back to day 2 of graphic design bootcamp. And then, as you already know, my name is Simon Dugbe and I'm your instructor for today. Okay, so yesterday we did some assignments and today we are going to do another assignment, a simple social media flyer. I want you guys to create to be able to enhance your designing skills. Okay, so as you already know how to create a file, you go to file, go to new, or just click on Control N. Then we are going to set our width and size and height to 10. We are going to use inches. We are going to use the resolution as well, 300, and then we are good to go. Okay, you guys know how to do that. So I'm going to do this video very quickly so that we can be able to, and we don't need to spend so much time. All right, so the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to do this red thing. All right, so I'm going to set my foreground color to red, which I've already done. So you can just click here and then you can just, all right. So during the earlier class today, we learned something about color palette. So in case you are designing and you don't know the colors to use, and then maybe you've seen a design somewhere, a flyer somewhere, you want to use that type of color, just save the flyer simply, bring it to Photoshop, select your foreground color, and then select your color. So it will just change the foreground color for you, and then you are good to go. Okay. All right. So the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to do this shape. So actually, this thing is a circle shape. So I'm going to use my eclipse tool, which is U, and then I will just hold Shift and drag. Okay. One thing you should know that if you don't hold Shift, it becomes distorted. So you need to hold Shift and then you drag. Great. Okay, so V, and I position it down here like this. Let me reduce my size. I position it down here like this. Great. This looks great. And let me increase it a little bit. All right. So you can click on Control O to make your work fit the workspace. All right. Okay. So what we are going to do next is we are going to bring in the what? The phone. This is actually a phone. I downloaded it from a site called PNG Ring. So it's actually a PNG file. So we learned about PNG in the earlier class. We learned that PNG is an image without a background. So you can just import it into your design. You're good to go. Okay, so let me bring this a little bit down. So I go to File, Place Embedded, and I search for the location where okay, so this is it, and I press what? I click on it, and then I reduce it a bit. Okay, this looks great. So in case you are doing this and then you realize that okay, so it's you are dragging it and then it increases like this, please note you are supposed to hold Shift. But in case you set your preference not to hold Shift, it's okay. If you want to set the preference, you can go to Control K and hold Control, and then you go to K, and then you'll be able to you go to interface, you go to workspace, you go to tools, general K, so go to cursor, I think interface, workspace, tools. All right, so this is it. These are the options. If you want to zoom, you can work around it to suit your workspace. All right, that's great, but I'm okay with this. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is what? I'm going to bring in the car. All right, so the car, I think I need to increase this in a distortion form so that it becomes very nice. All right, so I just increase it like this and I'm good to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring in what? The the car image. The car image, so I downloaded it from a site called penginewing.com. So you can go there and download. I've sent the links to you guys for you to use, and I'll put it in the description below. Okay, great. So I'll go to File, Place Embedded. The reason I like using Place Embedded is that it places the image that you are bringing into your workplace, into your workspace in the canvas. So this is actually a canvas. The edges of your work, your design is actually a canvas. So instead of you doing this, so you drag and then you drop from here, I recommend that you use the what? The File, Place Embedded, and then you bring in what's your car. All right, this looks very great. And then I reduce it a little bit. So I just position it over here. So um, I do it in such a way as if it is coming out of the phone. So one thing you should know is that you realize that under the car there is like see there's a shadow. There's a shadow. This is called drop shadow. So I'll teach you guys effects in the next video and in the next tutorial. So you can just click on your layer. you go to FX, you go to drop shadow, and then you get a drop shadow over there. So you can realize that this is the default drop shadow I have. So I can reduce it, can reduce the spread. So this is basically what drop shadow makes, is that it makes the car stands out as if it's on a street and it's going. All right, so this is it. But since there's already a drop shadow when I downloaded it, I don't need a drop shadow. All right, great. So we brought our design in. So you realize that the drop shadow makes it look as if it's a 3D image. It's actually not a 3D. We just did our circle, we brought in our phone image, and we brought in our what? Card image, PNG image. All right, great. So we are going to do next is what? We are going to what? Bring in our Yango logo. So the Yango logo, I have this and I have this. I downloaded it from their website, and I showed you guys how to download from websites in the earlier class. But I'll do that video alone and I'll post it to you guys. Okay, so I go to file, go to place embedded, and then what do? I select the Yango symbol. Okay, so don't forget to be using your rulers too. So if you want to make sure your rulers are active, you go to view and then you click rulers. Okay, so what is rulers? Rulers helps you to have a good guidelines in whatever you do. So I want to bring in my rulers by default and bring in my rulers. Okay, I should have done it earlier, but kindly pardon me. So, and then I'm going to reduce the Yango logo. Okay, great. Let me reduce it. I think this is okay, and I'll put it over here. So you see, the ruler actually stops it from going out. It can actually go out, but immediately you bring it to this side, it will put it over there. Yes, this is one nice thing about rulers. It helps you keep your work what organized. Right, great. So what we are going to do next is what? We are going to bring in what? Our drive with Yango. So the font that I use is what? Gotham font. I'm going to make it available for you guys to be able to use. So I use Gotham Black Regular. So I'm just going to search for what? Gotham Black Regular. Okay, great. And I'm going to increase it. And I'm going to do what? And what's the test? Drive with Yango. Great, just like so. This is just like yesterday's what assignment. So drive, enter with Yango. Great, and I'm going to okay. So this is what with. So I'm going to increase it. All right, so I taught you guys something about spacing earlier on. So what spacing does is that it is the space in between the test. So I normally, one tip I can give you guys is that I normally set the space a little bit higher to the size of the test or a little bit lower, so you can realize that the font size is what 40 points and then the spacing is what 65 points, and then I can also do the horizontal spacing. Let me just do it, put it at 50. So what the horizontal spacing does is that it helps, you see, it just increase the horizontal, the width spacing. All right, so let me put it at 50. I'm good to go. Great. All right. So you realize that our what? Our drive width is what? Black, and then our Yango is what? Red. So I'm going to select this drive width, and I'm going to put this what? Yes, great. I just highlighted it. That was what I did. Okay, great. So let me bring this one a little bit here. Okay, so I think we are good. We are good to go. All right, great. This looks good. So one way for you to also do this, you can do it independently. So I can say, okay, I'm going to do the drive with independent. So drive enter with, and I'm going to set the what the color to what black, and then I'm going to duplicate it, and I'll do the Yango what red Yango. Great. I want to one day work with Yango. That's why I'm actually doing a Yango flag. Great. So, and I'll align it very well. So don't forget to do your alignment. You see the space in between is. So you see one way of doing this can be very hectic. That's why I like doing it, and then I just highlight. But you can do it like this also. But I think I'll go with what the one that I did earlier on. Great. I'll go with this one. All right, great. So you should know I explained how to use color in the earlier class. You should be able to know how to set out color above each other. So you realize that the reason why I did the Yango red is that Yango's logo has what red. And that was why I did the Yango. I could have choose to do the Yango black, but I was like, no. Okay, what to make the Yango stand out is the what red, because when you see their cars moving it with what red. They are almost red and then yango and then yes. So they normally go with white and red. That was why. So in this tutorial, I'm just going to use only three colors: black, red, and white. Don't use a lot of colors when you are designing. That is one tip you are supposed to know. All right, great. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to what? Get 30% cash back on every drive. I'm going to design that. So I use Gotham medium. So I'm going to search for Gotham, and then the star is going to be Gotham and medium. Great. I'm going to reduce this to like, let it be 15. Okay, so let me do it Gotham regular. I like the medium. Okay, so get 30% cash back on every drive. Great. So this looks a little bit long. So let me set the point to 12. I think this looks great, and then I'll align it over here. I just this a normal alignment. Okay, so let me align it. Great. So this looks great. But I think when it goes, okay, so it seems the test that I did. Okay, enter. Right. So I think I myself will do uh, default. Okay, so I want it to be under like this. So you realize that I want it to be aligned very well. So I can even use my ruler. You can just click over here at this side and then you drag the ruler to this side. Okay, great. So this is what we want to do. I think by now most of you know how to do this. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this Yango image so that it will be like, okay, so the person actually using phone, but the car is coming out from the phone. Great. So this is one way to also interact, use your designs to interact with customers, especially when you are doing PRX, like public relation works for companies and all that. Okay, so I'm going to do what place embedded. I'll make the resource available for you guys at the end of the class. Great. So I reduce this, I'll bring it in, and then I'll select the phone, and then I'll align it very well. I need to send it to the top a bit, and then I'll align it well. I'll do. Okay, great. This looks great. All right, so we are good to go. So we need to bring what our download the app to drive. Okay, so we are trying to tell them that anybody who wants to drive, just download the application and then drive. So what I do is that I go to my rectangle tool, which is U on the keyboard, and then I click and then I drag. Great, this looks great. Okay, and I set the fill to what? White. White. Okay, great. And then what do I do? And let me align it. So I do Control A and I align it to the middle so that it be nice. Select. But sometimes when you do that, so you realize that you need to do it manually so that you get a perfect design. Okay, great. So what we are going to do next is what? I'm going to click on my test tool, and then the next font I'm going to use is called what? Poppins. You can get this font in Google font. Poppins. So I'm going to use Poppins medium. I'm going to bring my text inside my rectangle, and I'm going to type download app now. Okay, so I think it's download the app to drive. Yes. Upload, download the app to drive. Great. This looks very, very great. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to align it together. And I'm going to increase the font of this. Since my character, okay, so I'm going to increase the font a little bit. So let me do this font 14. Okay, 15. All right, this looks good. And I'm going to decrease the width of my rectangle, and I'm going to align them. Great. So you could realize I just use this align. So this is what? When you hover your mouse over it, it give you a name. Align horizontal vectors and then what? Align what? Vertical center. So you can work around it and you are good to go. All right, so great. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to bring you what? This download on App Store and Android app. So I go to file, place embedded. I'll make this available. You can download it online too if you want to. All right, so it's together. So I want to cut them out different. So like we learned yesterday in day one, I just go to M, which is the marquee tool, and I just click, I drag on the download on the App Store only, and then I hold Control and I click on J, and then it duplicates. Can you look at how it duplicates? So I toggle off this visibility, and then I select my layer and I reduce the size. Great. And I reduce the size. Okay, this looks very great. Download app now. Great, great. This looks very great. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to toggle on this. I'm going to select this layer. I'm going to cut out the 100. So we click on M on the keyboard, and then we click and we drag on the 100 app Google Play. And Control J, we toggle off our layer, and then we use the move tool to reduce the size, and then we align it this way. All right, so let's increase it. So you can actually use the rulers to make sure that they are all the same size. So I'm bringing the rulers in. So I want this video to be short as possible. Great. So you realize that I've been able to reduce it to the rulers. So you need to be zooming in and zooming out to see that your designs are perfect. This looks very good. This looks very good. All right. Okay. So let me send my rulers back so that I can look at my work. Great, great. This looks great. Okay, this looks great. It's a simple and nice, catchy flyer. All right. So this is it. This is our flyer for today and our assignment for today. This is very simple. So I hope you guys will finish it very fast and you submit it. Okay, great. So I'm going to save it like we already know. I'm going to control save, control and I hold S, or I can go to file, I go to save, and then I save it as Photoshop file first before I go to save as copy. And I can save it as JPG, but because I already have it, I don't need to save it. So you guys save it and submit your assignment. So great. So this is what this is the assignment we are to submit today. So this is it. A very nice and catchy flyer. So thank you very much for participation. I'd like to see your comments down below, and I'm going to make the links to download the font available for you in the description below. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll be waiting for your assignments. Bye bye.